Hello everyone. For our corporate communication campaign project, in order to compare actual practice of corporate communication versus the theories of corporate communication, we have chosen to discuss about COVID-19 pandemic communication strategy between three countries. We will begin with China, where it all started, then flew to one of the nearest country, Malaysia, and finally, we will go to one of the Middle East country, Oman. COVID-19 was first identified in Wuhan City, Hubei Province, China in late 2019. And on March 11, 2020, COVID-19 has been declared a global pandemic. So how do the governments respond to this crisis? And how do they communicate it back to the public? First, let's hear it from our respondent in China, Yang Chenyu.
For China's fight against the epidemic has been successful, right? Which depend on strict prevention measures and the people's trust in the government. Among them, the Chinese government's emergency response to the crisis and the appropriate communication strategies are of practical significance. For example, in the early days of the epidemic prevention and control, the State Council launched press conferences on the system of joint prevention and control in more than 10 cities to report on the work and response to social concerns. Continuous promotions of epidemic prevention measures, establishment of public questions, and so on. By building positive interactions with citizens, first time to grasp the directions of public opinion. However, there are still frequent negative public opinions which put the Chinese government in the public opinion crisis. And then the government uses short video and live video streaming to communicate positive information and deny negative and untrue information, give play to the rule of public opinion guidance. In addition, after the initial control of the epidemic, the Wuhan government sent leaders of thanks to provinces and cities and related organizations for their assistance. Also sent letter of thanks to Xinlang Weibo. As soon as the thank you letter was released, it received high praise from the public and soothed people's heart. From the perspective of communication, netizens are both communicators and receivers. When they know that certain news spreads through international communication and group communication, and there is no information gatekeepers than by traditional media. The focus of netizen communication is often "I know" rather than "I'm sure it is true." The Chinese government has developed from denial crisis response strategy to diminution crisis response strategy, and then to rebuild crisis response strategy. It is completely consistent with the situational crisis communication theory. So, China government has put many communication theories into practice in the epidemic prevention process. Actually, these examples are of practical significance and reference value to enterprises and organizations.
Hello everyone, let me introduce the China fight for the COVID-19 to identify the four categories of vulnerable people. Community-grade basis screening was carried out across the country. All residents were requested to report their health condition on a daily basis. Community workers for their part visited the household door to door to collect and verify this information. Temperature checking was made a routine at all places. The Chinese New Year holiday was extended. Public gathering was canceled or postponed, and the spring semester was postponed in school. Cinemas, theater, internet cafe, and the gym were all closed. Strict procedure had to be followed in essential public facilities, including bus station, airport, ports, farmer market, shopping mall, supermarkets, restaurants, and hotel. In enclosed transport vehicles such as bus, train, and plane. All persons were required to wear masks and undergo temperature monitor when accessing this venue or vehicle. In addition, all such facilities had to be disinfected, meet certain hygiene standards, ensure good ventilation, monitor visitor temperature, and control the number of passengers or visitors at a given period of time.
Malaysia recorded its first COVID-19 case on January 24, 2020. Since the pandemic hit the country more than a year ago, the government has held press conferences almost every day. In corporate communication, one of the most crucial communication strategies is to select the right spokesperson with excellent communication skills to convey the message to the public effectively. Thus, the government has put forward 2 credible spokespersons for all matters related to the government response against the pandemic: Minister of Defence Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah. Their combined efforts to maintain a consistent and reliable flow of information, presenting the latest timely and accurate updates on the country's current COVID-19 pandemic situation, has won the public support to clarity, trustworthiness, competent, reassuring, and familiar tone. From time to time, Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin will announce the overall government initiatives and economic stimulus packages. Adapting to the culturally diverse population in Malaysia, the government used as many channels of communication as possible to reach the greatest number of people. Public agencies have taken significant measures to communicate with the public proactively using comprehensive approach and made full use of conventional and digital media, reaching wide audience through the use of daily statistics in social media, daily SMS by National Security Council (MKN), and a unified check-in and contact tracing smartphone application developed to assist in managing the COVID-19 outbreaks in the country called MySejahtera. Even the media, celebrities, and influencers have appealed to the public to stay at home and avoid mass gatherings by using the hashtag #StayHome. To enhance the initiatives, the government has changed the narrative from peddling fear to promoting hope and progress, shifting the emphasis of the message from punishment to positive reinforcement. The public must be reassured that proper actions were being taken through messages delivered by strong spokespersons, accessible public service announcements, the use of simple language, and the use of visuals such as infographics and short videos. This is in line with corporate communication theories and practice, where delivering the right message through the right channels are important to ensure that they reach targeted audience. Leveraging technology, social media platforms, and mobile applications became a powerful channel combined with creative content and strategic messaging.
Finally, we reach Sultanate of Oman. On 24th February, the first 2 cases of COVID-19 were confirmed in Oman. These cases involved 2 women who had returned from Iran. On 27th February, the number of cases in Oman was increased to 6. Also, the cases were linked to the recent travel to Iran. On 11th of March, it was announced from the World Health Organization that COVID-19 is a global pandemic. So the government of Oman announced to all students who was study abroad to come back to Oman, free ticket to all of them, and 30th of March will be the last flights that enter Oman from all over the world. By the end of the month, a lot of students and people who are out of the country had reached a total of 7,646, and they were considered as suspect cases and put under quarantine, and they can choose between home or hotel with no fees, including citizens and expatriates. I will explain the crisis management of corporate communication according to agenda setting theory and authoritarian theory. Agenda setting theory. First of all, the Sultanate formed the Supreme Committee to discuss the mechanism for dealing with the epidemic. Later on, using media to the public to show them where they should focus their attention and how they can protect themselves and their family. The government used a lot of a platform and method to aware all the citizens and residents by structuring their thinking. The Ministry of Health worked really hard on their mass media platform to show their guidelines by using simple language, using visuals such as infographic and short videos. And they hired a lot of influencers, medical and media influencers, to speak and explain the guidelines of the ministry. Authoritarian theory. The practice of this theory was forcing the citizen a high amount of money if they didn't follow the instruction of the government. For example, non-compliance with the closure of shop which the community has decided to close are fines with 3,000 Omani Riyal, 7,800 US dollar, and not wearing a mask with 100 Omani Riyal, 260 US dollar. It was announced that a total of 28.4 million Omani Riyal had been collected from fines and were reserved for national fund to fight the pandemic in the country.
In conclusion, all the government's efforts relate to agenda setting theory, where the government conveys the agenda to the public through the media. In contrast, lack of data sharing or a transparent reporting system may open windows for infodemic or false social media information. This is related to gatekeeping theory, where information is filtered for dissemination to ensure the right information is delivered to the public. Several theories of corporate communication have been observed and practiced by the government of all three countries to ensure effective and efficient communication with the public in regards to COVID-19. That concludes our corporate communication campaign project. Thank you for watching.